When 3I/ATLAs was spotted speeding through the solar system, few expected it to behave like this. Its massive coma, larger than Jupiter, and the deep emerald glow surrounding its half-kilometer nucleus immediately set it apart. But it was the spectroscopic data that left researchers stunned. No trace of diatomic carbon, the molecule that normally causes green cometary emissions. If you're still watching, subscribe now. You crave more than answers. You seek what lies beyond. Subscribe now and be part of the few who never stop searching. Instead, instruments detected carbon dioxide, cyanogen, and unusually high nickel levels, but a puzzling absence of iron. The combination is chemically bizarre, almost like the object was formed under conditions not found anywhere near our sun. With 4 different space telescopes confirming these anomalies, the question isn't just what 3I/ATLAs is, but whether it might be something we've never encountered before. The mystery deepens when you realize this isn't just another comet, it's moving on a hyperbolic trajectory, coming from deep interstellar space and traveling nearly 56 kilometers per second, fast enough to escape the sun's gravity entirely. Its behavior doesn't match what scientists expect from ancient, inert interstellar material. Instead, it's hyperactive, oddly structured, and potentially engineered. That emerald glow, potentially caused by unknown chemistry, or even a signal mechanism, might not be accidental. And as the object swings close to the sun in October 2025, solar radiation could expose answers or raise entirely new questions. For now, both scientific institutions and military observers are watching closely, wondering if this rare visitor is simply a cosmic outlier or something more deliberate. 3I/ATLAs, the third known interstellar object to enter our solar system, has once again defied expectations, rewritten models, and stunned both astronomers and defense analysts alike. What began as a distant green dot has now become a point of growing tension, speculation, and urgency. Not because it's dangerous in a conventional sense, but because nothing about it makes sense. Not its glow, not its chemical makeup, not its trajectory, not even its behavior. Let's start with the obvious. It's green, not a pale cometary green that comes from diatomic carbon, sathrus, which normally fluoresces under solar radiation. No. This is something else entirely. A vivid emerald glow, intense, unrelenting, visible across vast distances. But here's the kicker: spectroscopic analysis confirms there's no diatomic carbon in the coma. None. So where's the green coming from? That's the question tearing through research labs and military briefings alike. 4 different space telescopes, all independent, confirmed the glow, all noted the absence of SAD, and all agreed this isn't just strange, it's unprecedented. And it gets worse. This isn't just a frozen rock from deep space catching the light. 3I/ATLAs is active, energetic, radiating power levels inconsistent with an inert, ancient body supposedly wandering through interstellar voids for eons. It's on a hyperbolic trajectory, meaning it came from outside our solar system, and it's never coming back. Clocking in at nearly 56 kilometers per second, it's moving fast enough to escape the sun's gravitational pull. That alone confirms what we feared and hoped. This is a true interstellar visitor. The third ever observed, but that velocity, that speed alone should have meant dormancy. A quiet cruise through the solar system, cold, inert, unremarkable. Yet instead, we're watching a half-kilometer wide nucleus, surrounded by a coma larger than Jupiter. That's not just unusual, that's impossible by everything we thought we knew. And inside that coma, high levels of carbon dioxide, elevated cyanogen, unusually high nickel content, but conspicuously shockingly absent is iron. No detectable amounts at all, which raises a simple but devastating question. What kind of star system produces this kind of chemistry? Because it's not ours. Every comet we've ever studied, every asteroid, every fragment, we see some mix of carbon, nickel, iron. Iron is a constant, a signature of planetary formation in our part of the galaxy. Its absence in 3I/ATLAs is not just a red flag, it's a chemical fingerprint from an alien system, a system forged under conditions we don't yet understand. And that brings us back to the glow. The green light shouldn't exist, the chemistry doesn't match, the physics doesn't support it. So we're left with only a few possibilities. 1. There's a new molecule, previously unknown, producing this fluorescence. 2. It's a known molecule, reacting with something unexpected, maybe the nickel, in ways we've never observed before. Or 3, and this is where the conversations go quiet, this is intentional, an engineered signal, a marker, a form of communication. It's not a claim made lightly, but it's one that's being whispered in closed-door briefings and written in the margins of internal memos, not because we want it to be true, but because every natural explanation has fallen apart under scrutiny. If that glow is deliberate, if that coma is emitting light not as a byproduct, but as a function, then 3I/ATLAs isn't just an object of study, it's a message, or worse, a distraction. And that's where the military comes in. Because while astronomers talk about nickel spectra and hyperbolic vectors, surveillance agencies see something else. They see an intensely bright object moving fast through the inner solar system, bright enough to blind optical sensors, bright enough to saturate imaging systems, bright enough to create blind spots. In other words, a perfect cover, a moving flare, potentially masking something else, or drawing attention away from something else. That's why defense satellites are watching, that's why strategic commands are logging trajectory updates, not because they expect an impact, but because they can't explain what's happening. And in space, unexplained means unacceptable, especially with the perihelion approaching. On October 29, 2025, 3I/ATLAs will reach its closest point to the Sun. That's the moment of truth. Solar radiation will spike. The coma will either intensify, disperse, or transform. Whatever secrets are hidden in that green shroud may finally be forced into the open. If it behaves like a comet, we might walk away with new chemistry, new models, and 1,000 new questions about alien star systems. But if it behaves unlike anything we've seen before, if the glow changes, if the activity increases beyond solar input, if any patterns emerge, then we may be looking at something far more significant. A sign, a signal, or a probe. We're not talking about wild theories. We're talking about possibilities raised by the data, hard data, and the questions that come from that data are not theoretical, they're operational. How do we monitor it? How do we distinguish noise from signal? How do we maintain surveillance when our best instruments are overwhelmed by fluorescence? The object's presence alone forces us to rethink not just astronomy, but planetary defense, because this isn't Oumuamua. That one came and went quietly. No coma, no light, just a tumbling shard of unknown material. This isn't Borisov either. That one looked and behaved like a standard comet, just one from another star. But 3I/ATLAs, this one is different, aggressively different, unapologetically anomalous, and it's only getting stranger the closer it gets to the Sun. Already researchers are writing papers they never thought they'd write. Theories that include molecular structures we've never synthesized, spectral anomalies we can't replicate, formation environments we can't yet model, and the nickel. Always the nickel, it's everywhere in the readings. Elevated beyond expectation, present in quantities that dominate the signature, but what role it plays, why it's there, what it means, we don't know. Some propose nickel-based reactions might be driving the glow, others suggest the nickel may act as a catalyst for unknown chemical processes. A few ask a darker question: what if the nickel is a byproduct of something else, some mechanism, some engine, some function? Because right now, the one thing everyone agrees on is this: 3I/ATLAs is active, not just illuminated. Active. It's emitting more than it should, moving cleaner than expected, and radiating signals optical, spectroscopic, and perhaps more, that cannot be dismissed as random noise, which is why we keep watching. And when October 29th arrives, we'll have a chance to gather the most detailed data ever collected on an interstellar object in active transit. If the object's behavior holds, we might finally get clarity. But if it shifts, if the glow morphs, the coma expands, or new spectra emerge, we may be forced to admit that we are not just observers of an interstellar relic, we may be witnesses to something else entirely. This isn't hype, this isn't science fiction, this is a green light in space that shouldn't be glowing, from a body that shouldn't be active, with a chemical signature that doesn't belong, moving through our system faster than anything we've ever seen. And as of now, there's still no answer. What is 3I/ATLAs? We don't know. We know it's not from here. We know it's glowing in a way that defies explanation. We know it's approaching a critical solar threshold, and we know both astronomers and military strategists are watching it. closely. Because when natural laws break down in front of your instruments, when known chemistry fails to explain what you're seeing, when a glow meant to be impossible refuses to fade, that's not just a scientific mystery, that's a signal. And what it means, only time and sunlight will tell. If you want to stay updated on what happens as 3I/ATLAs reaches perihelion, make sure you hit that like button, share this video so more people understand the stakes, drop a comment with your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe for future updates as the story develops. There's a lot more coming. But here's the part that isn't being said aloud, not in public at least. It's not just the science that's unraveling, it's the confidence. The confidence in our models, in our assumptions, in the idea that space is silent, passive, and indifferent. Because 3I/ATLAs is forcing everyone, scientists, military analysts, aerospace engineers, to stare at the limits of what we think we understand, and those limits are starting to crack. No one can explain the green. No one can explain the iron absence, and no one can explain why this object, this supposed interstellar artifact, is behaving like it's awake. Hyperbolic trajectory. Check, it's interstellar, no question. The math confirms it, the speed confirms it. The orbital arc, straight from deep space, but it acts like it's home. Like it's responding to solar input, like it's waiting for something, preparing. Maybe that sounds dramatic, but so does a half-kilometer object glowing neon green without any known cause. So does a coma larger than Jupiter, forming around a nucleus the size of a city block. So does a chemical profile that screams alien. This isn't paranoia, it's pattern recognition. Because what do you do when something violates every precedent you've built your scientific framework on? You pay attention, and right now, attention is exactly what 3I/ATLAs is getting. Not just from astrophysicists mapping coma dynamics, but from classified agents triangulating emissions, from defense departments calculating orbital intersections, from intelligence units reviewing whether this is truly passive, or if it's part of something bigger. That's not conspiracy talk. That's protocol. Any unidentified object with unknown chemical behavior, unexpected energy outputs, and high reflectivity becomes a concern, not just to science, but to security. Not because it's a weapon, but because we don't know what it is. And uncertainty at this level, that's a vulnerability. Let's get specific. Cyanogen, normally present in trace cometary amounts, is elevated. Highly elevated. It's a toxic gas on Earth, but in space, under high-energy UV conditions, it behaves strangely. Combine that with COCAF, at levels far above known interstellar objects, and nickel that shouldn't be there in such quantities, and you're staring at a recipe for reactions we haven't modeled, or for structures we haven't conceived. There's a growing suspicion, though few are saying it on record, that this glow could be controlled, engineered, or at the very least, managed by processes not yet defined by conventional physics. Again, not fantasy, just data, just questions. Because the green glow isn't fading. In fact, it's intensifying as the object approaches the sun. The standard thermal response would be sublimation, water ice turning to vapor, dust trails. Gas expansion, we've seen that before. But this is spectral coherence. Light emission at wavelengths that remain stable across varying distances. That's not cometary behavior. That's not just outgassing. It's something else. The coma isn't just growing. It's consistent. Structured. It expands without dispersing. That's being confirmed by 4 different observation platforms. It maintains shape even as solar wind pressure increases. If this were natural, it should deform, break, stretch. We've watched 1,000 comets do just that, but 3I/ATLAs holds its form, like it's being shaped from within. And that has people worried. Worried because shape implies structure, structure implies control, and control implies intent. There's still no consensus, there's still no signal in the radio bands, no detected pulses, no rhythmic emissions, but every time someone rules out artificiality, the data pulls them back in. And then there's the masking effect. The glow isn't just bright, it's blinding to sensors, saturating photometric arrays, overwhelming detectors designed to track near-Earth objects. If you were trying to sneak something into the inner solar system behind the cover of a high-intensity optical anomaly, this would be exactly how you'd do it. Let's be clear, there's no confirmed companion object. No secondary signal, no shadow signature. But that doesn't stop the speculation. The concern isn't just what 3I/ATL is, but what it might be hiding, or leading. And as October 29th draws closer, that concern is becoming an obsession. Telescopes are being retasked, schedules cleared. Classified time on infrared arrays has spiked. Everyone wants a look. Because when it hits perihelion, the solar exposure will peak, temperatures will surge, radiation levels will spike. That's the moment. If it's natural, we'll see more of what we expect. Expansion, sublimation, perhaps even disintegration. But if it's not, if there's something artificial at the core, if the light is part of a mechanism or emission system, then we'll find out. Or at least we'll see something. And that's what keeps everyone up at night. Because what if it doesn't change? What if it resists solar disruption? What if the glow stabilizes further? What if in the face of maximum solar radiation, the object holds steady? That's not a comet. That's not a rock. That's a response. And yet, no message, no contact, no code. Just a constant signal, light. Unnatural light. Military analysts have already begun modeling worst-case scenarios, not for impact, but for misinterpretation. What happens if another nation sees this object as a strategic cover? What if assumptions diverge? What if weapon systems interpret the glow as interference? These are real conversations, and they're growing more urgent. Because time is running out, and the object is only getting brighter. For now, all we have are fragments, spectral lines, trajectory data, gas ratios, and thousands of unanswered questions. But every new data point cuts deeper into the old assumptions, and there's one truth emerging that nobody can deny. 3I/ATLAs is not like anything we've seen before. Not Oort cloud. Not interstellar debris. Not standard comet. Something else. Something rare. Possibly the first direct evidence of material from another solar system built under alien conditions. Possibly more. In any case, it's a turning point. We're about to learn something that changes the way we look at the stars. Whether it confirms a new branch of chemistry or forces us to confront the idea of intelligent engineering in deep space, it's happening. And it's happening now. October 29th isn't just another day in the calendar, it's a threshold. And on the other side of that threshold, answers. Maybe. Or more questions. But no matter what happens, natural or not, 3I/ATLAs has already done what few things in the cosmos ever do. It's made us stop. It's made us look. It's made us rethink what we thought we knew about the universe, and that's worth everything. What happens when something ancient arrives, and it doesn't behave like it's ancient? What happens when every measurement screams alien, and every analysis just ends in a longer silence? Because that's where we are now, standing at the edge of our own ignorance, staring into the green light of something that doesn't belong here, something that shouldn't even be possible. 3I/ATLAs is not quiet. It's not subtle. It's screaming through space at nearly 56 kilometers per second, glowing brighter than anything in its class, with a coma larger than Jupiter, and nobody knows why. Nobody can explain how. And nobody can say what's coming next. That glow, relentless, emerald, unnatural, was supposed to fade. That was the prediction. But it hasn't. It's stabilized. It's growing. And the closer it gets to the sun, the more precise it becomes. Less chaotic. More structured. And that's not how comets work. Comets fall apart. They break, they sputter, they vent. But this is maintaining coherence. That's not resilience. That's design. Maybe not artificial design. Maybe not intelligence. But structure with purpose. Purpose we don't yet understand. It shouldn't have this kind of nickel concentration. It shouldn't lack iron. It shouldn't be releasing cyanogen at the levels we're seeing. It shouldn't be glowing green without diatomic carbon. It shouldn't look the same in every wavelength, every orbit, every observation. But it does. And that's why this matters. Because this isn't just about astronomy.
This isn't just a comet with weird chemistry. It's an object from outside our solar system carrying with it a message, whether intentional or not, about what else is out there. About what forms, what elements, what phenomena might exist in star systems we've never seen and can barely imagine, and it's here. Right now. Moving through our system, in our sky. And if this is natural, then we have to accept that our models are broken. That the rules we've used to explain interstellar matter are incomplete, maybe even irrelevant. And if it's not natural, if even one signal, one shift, one emission suggests control, then we are no longer alone in the way we thought we were. That's the weight of this moment. That's the scale of what we're facing. Perihelion is coming. The sun will do what no lab on Earth can do: strip away the comet's disguise, tear through its coat, and expose whatever lies beneath. When that happens, we'll know more. Maybe not everything, but more than we do now. Until then we wait, and we watch. And the green glow continues. Relentless, silent, bright enough to blind senses, strange enough to shatter certainty. Whatever 3I/ATL is, object, artifact, anomaly, it has changed the conversation, and in doing so, it may have already changed history. So stay here with us. Hit that subscribe button, like the video, if you're following this all the way to the sun, and tell us what do you think. 3I/ATL really is. Because ready or not, the answers are coming.